You're listening to the No Bullshit Vegan Podcast, episode 207. Multisport coach and vegan athlete Saskia Bjornson is on the show to talk about leading by example, the annual triathlon she hosts, which is an entirely vegan event, and much more.
Welcome to the No Bullshit Vegan Podcast. Myth-busting and evidence-based advice to help you kick butt with your health and fitness on a vegan diet. Here's your host, Karina Inkster.
Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Karina, your go-to no BS vegan fitness and nutrition coach. Thanks so much for joining me today. One of our awesome clients, shout out to Chris, just finished coaching with us. He was already an experienced weightlifter, but was feeling stuck on how to progress with his squat, deadlift, and bench press. So my coaching team and I built him a custom program with smart progression built in. We made adjustments to his technique where needed, and we kept him accountable week to week. On the nutrition side, we fine-tuned his diet to make sure that he was fueling properly for recovery and performance. And the result is stronger lifts across the board, including some exciting new PRs. Chris says, "Thank you to Karina, Zoe, and the rest of the coaching team. They helped me with awesome coaching and diet advice, and were always quick with answering my questions and providing encouragement. After 8 months with the team, I set personal records on all my lifts." So kudos to Chris for this amazing consistency and the results that he has achieved. And by the way, Chris is just one example of what happens when you combine solid training, evidence-based nutrition, and ongoing support. So if you want to see what coaching with me and my team looks like, head to karinainkster.com/coaching. Let's get into today's conversation with Saskia Bjornson. Saskia is a multisport coach, triathlete, and movement advocate based in Victoria, BC. With a bachelor's degree in sport and fitness leadership, Saskia has long been passionate about helping people of all abilities leap into active lifestyles. On her journey as an athlete and coach, she's completed Ironman Canada 2016, earned the title of National Champion Aquabike 2016, placed 5th at the Aquabike World Championships in 2017, and logged numerous sprint, half iron, and trail adventures, including a 50-kilometer trail run and a 10-kilometer open water swim. Certified as an NCCP triathlon coach, spin instructor, lifeguard, and first aid responder, Saskia blends expertise and empathy in her coaching. She's known for demystifying big goals, breaking skills down into manageable steps, and infusing the process with humor and encouragement. Through her platform, Saskia Says, she offers programs in swim lessons, pool and open water, triathlon clinics, and multisport training designed especially for beginners. Saskia's favorite meal is pancakes, and I'm pretty sure that she's the first person on this show to have pancakes as their favorite meal, which is a little surprising, honestly, because they're awesome, obviously. Here's our conversation. Hi, Saskia. Thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to hear about all the things, the veganism and the triathlon, marathon swimming, open water swimming, working with clients. Holy crap, we have a lot to go through. And you're a fellow BC person. You're in Victoria.
I am, yeah. I'm one of those rare people who actually grew up in Victoria and ended up coming back and staying there. I just love the island. Island life is pretty fun.
Fair enough. Green Cuisine, is that still there?
Green Cuisine. Oh, isn't that... Is that in Vancouver?
I thought it was in Victoria. Isn't that like a kind of buffet vegetarian vegan place?
Oh, yes. There, yes, it is still there. It's down in the square. It is still there.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's been around for a while. That's cool.
It has been a long time. Yeah. We have a few, like Virtuous Pie is now in Victoria, which is pretty exciting for us. Yeah. And we have Odd Burger just joined the city. Yeah. So we have a few, but Vancouver is definitely where it's at when you're looking for vegan food.
Totally. Yeah. When I go back to Vancouver, it's like food fest for 48 hours straight, basically.
100%. Yeah. And then fit in the reasons you're actually in Vancouver. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what brought you to veganism? I know that you were vegetarian before. You went vegan in 2017, I believe. What's the story?
Well, there's a backstory to the story, which I feel like is worth sharing. So my younger sister, when we were like early 2000s, like this is pre-writing to PETA via Instagram. So she hand wrote letters to PETA saying like, I want to help, I want to save animals. And so she was already an advocate, like when we were little kids.
Amazing.
And so she wrote letters to PETA and said, I want to save animals. What can I do? So next thing I know, being the supportive sister that I am, I was picketing outside of KFC.
Wow.
With her holding these signs about what happens to chickens. And I wasn't even vegetarian at the time. So she just had this amazing power and vision about being kind to animals. So that really opened my mind to the idea, because we didn't grow up knowing anyone who is I didn't even know the word vegan. Like it wasn't on our radar at all. So she was kind of going vegetarian when we were kids. And then one year for her birthday, I was like, what do you want for your birthday? And she's like, I want you to go vegetarian for one day. I was like, oh, easiest present ever. I can do that. So then the next year I was like, what do you want for your birthday? And she's like, well, I want you to go vegetarian for a week. I was like, okay, I see where this is going. Hopefully we have many birthdays ahead of us. So I have to figure out what I want to do. So when I went back to school in 2009, our very first project actually was to write a persuasive essay. And I hadn't really wanted to know what was going on, kind of being just blissfully in this world of doing what you want, eating what you want, and not knowing the consequences of it. But I really I couldn't turn a blind eye anymore. So I decided I wrote this essay to open my mind about what was actually happening. And so I went vegetarian in 2009. And then I was what I call like an at-home vegan. I was an at-home vegan for a long time. And then the odd time I was out and there happened to be cheese in a bun or something like that, I was having that. And then it's hard. Once you know, you know. And so then I just couldn't just do the sometimes having animal products. I just had to go all in. So I went fully vegan in 2017, and it's been the best decision of my life. I'm so happy I did that.
That's so awesome. I know. Usually the one regret vegans have is, I wish I went vegan earlier.
Definitely. Yeah. Yes. I know it will. Again, I think we're in such a great time. It could be a really conflicting time because there's so much information out there. So people get very confused, and I actually love your page for that, because you'll kind of debunk and just give some simple answers. And Dr. Greger, I love when you can go on his page as well and know that this is coming from truth and fact. But it's a great time because there is so much information. Like I said, like more people know the word vegan and what that means. And there's content for us to now showcase what's happening. So I agree. Going earlier would have been great, but I'm glad I made it there. And I hope that, I'm having a positive impact on other people to maybe add more plants into their diet as well.
Absolutely. And what you just said about adding more plants, I think is important, because I was just telling one of my swim club members this yesterday, where he's like, dairy is my life and I'd rather give up gluten than give up dairy. And I'm like, are you insane? But anyway, I told him, a lot of people will tell me, I could never go vegan because of cheese. And I tell them, okay, well then go vegan except for cheese. Yeah. It's not that complicated. Ideally, sure, we would all be plant-based, of course, but every movement toward more plants and fewer animal products is a step in the right direction. And it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
I agree. Do you feel like your view on that has shifted through the years? Like, do you feel like at one point you were like, everyone has to go vegan, or you're a bit more swaying one way or the other?
Oh, that's such a good question. Yeah. When I first went vegan, I was only 16. And so I was like fully into it. And there's only one way to be vegan and you have to be 100%. And, So yes, it has changed. I feel like, of course, the ideal is the same, a vegan world, no animal exploitation. But the method in which we achieve that, or the method in which we can make progress now for me is different. So for sure. Is it similar for you?
Definitely. Yeah. I'm the same, like really so strong about it. I always feel very strong about it. But one of my brothers who's vegan, he has a soy allergy. So like things like that where I didn't even think about, what about a vegan with a soy allergy? What does that look like? And what is, being really active and healthy and all of that and getting your protein and everything. So it's just not black and white. And so I think I want people to, like I said, add more plants into their diet and go in that direction. And if we all mess up, we're not perfect. We try our best, to live like a cruelty-free life and do our best with that. But yeah, I think just having some grace and openness for people to just like dive into it to the degree that they're ready at that time in their life. Because I wasn't ready until I wrote that essay, right? To really start making a shift. So I think just
Absolutely.
I'm trying to always stay open-minded with people on it.
Yeah, I can relate to the allergy thing. And, I'm a vegan who does legitimately believe that some people are medically not able to go vegan. Very few, mind you, like a really small percentage of the population. But knowing someone like my grandma, who's not around anymore, but she had celiac and an insane number of food allergies to the point where the list of foods she could eat was pretty short and none of it was vegan. So, I do think that there are legitimately folks who have medical issues that prevent them from going 100% plant-based. I have allergies myself, all tree nuts, most raw fruit, which is kind of insane as a vegan.
Oh, no.
But I'm still making it work, right?
Wow. Yeah, good for you.
So, I feel like there are workarounds. If I was also allergic to soy and also celiac, I don't know. Man. I don't know if that would be reasonable. But we do what we can. Right?
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think that's an important piece there is you don't have to be 100%. Every step in that direction is going to make a difference.
Absolutely.
I feel like we can apply that to fitness too, actually, because not everyone, the fitness industry as a whole tells us the bullshit that it's either all or nothing. Either you're on a plan, you're working out till you croak every single time. It's kind of like that P90X mentality from 20 years ago, just like kill yourself in every workout. But the same concept can apply. And I assume that's what you're doing with a lot of your clients is like getting them into things for the first time. 10-minute workouts, some of our clients do. They start that way. It's still effective.
Absolutely. And don't you just love aging? I love aging for this. It's like maturing to realize you don't have to crush your body every workout. You don't need to be on the floor collapsing after every workout to have a good productive workout. And
totally,
because again, exactly that mentality. And all through my 20s, that's what I thought I needed because that's what we were kind of taught. And I just love growing and aging, learning that that's not what we need all the time. And those are great. Those are great workouts to incorporate as well.
Totally.
But yes, with my athletes, bringing people in, and I love working with beginner adults because once you leave high school, that opportunity to try new things, you really have to seek it out, right? Like when you're in school, it's like, join this club. It's right here at your fingertips, everything, right? Or your parents might register you something without you even giving them the okay for it. So with adults, I just really appreciate adults who are willing to still learn and want to learn and improve and be so vulnerable to do something like swimming. You're pretty much naked in a public place trying something you're terrified of. Yeah. And to be willing to put yourself in that situation and give it a go and then potentially add 2 more sports and make it a triathlon is just incredible. So I'm really honored when people are willing to spend their hard-earned money, show up when they're scared, set this crazy goal and come give it a go. So I love it so much. It's super fun.
That's so amazing. I want to talk more about what you do with your athletes, but first of all, yourself as an athlete, you've done a marathon open water swim, which is 10K. You've done a 50K trail run, probably multiple ones. You've done an Ironman triathlon. I mean, you're a freaking machine. I assume a lot of these things were done as a vegan.
It was, again, that kind of at-home vegan. It wasn't until 2017, but yes, a lot of them were as a vegan. And I feel, you probably feel the same, like being a vegan feels like such a superpower. Like my recovery time, it's crazy. Like I just feel with my friends that I'll train with who, eat heavy on the meat diet, like I'll recover so much faster than them. And but no, it's been really fun. I grew up swimming, but I didn't grow up running. Didn't like running at all, actually. And I didn't have a bike. Like I biked a little bit as a little girl, and then I didn't have an adult bike until I decided to do a triathlon. I really am one of those strange people who likes change. I like change. I like challenging myself, and I do like keep moving forward. Doing an Ironman, I've done 1.5. I ended up getting heat stroke on the second one, so I wasn't able to complete it, unfortunately.
Dang.
But yeah, doing the open water swim, the 10K was amazing. I had both my brothers there supporting me, being my stand-up paddleboard support, which was really neat. And yeah, I love, like, if I can just be out on the trails all day, I would all the time. So it's a good excuse. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do 50K. That means I get to be out there really long.
That's hilarious.
So I really love it.
That's cool. And you also help folks with open water swimming. So like it could be swimmers who are just pool swimmers their whole lives who want to get into open water swimming, or it could be beginners, I assume, who are actually learning the technique. What's that like?
Yeah. Exactly. I work with people kind of all over learning how to swim or open water swimming or getting ready for their first triathlon, or people who've been doing triathlon and swimming, but they just need a few more little fine tuning skills to, how to round a buoy, how to place yourself in a pack when you're in a race and that kind of thing. I really enjoy it. It is a very different environment. And it's been really interesting to work with people to see, some people who are new, they are really drawn to the open water, and then some are terrified of the open water and drawn to the pool. So it's such a mix. But I love it. Again, we're in beautiful British Columbia. It is stunning. I get to call the lake my office for months at a time. And I'm just paddling along, seeing eagles fly over my head. And it's a pinch me moment every day I get to work out there. It's really fun. It's a good mixture of people and working on all these different skills on how to sight, making sure you can see where you're going, and athletes crisscrossing around you who aren't sighting in the water. Well, you coach open water swimming too, don't you?
Well, not coaching officially. I unofficially have taught people how to swim as adults, like from scratch, which is a very cool feeling. But I do run an open water swim club.
Okay.
So we're non-competitive, we're inclusive. You need to be able to swim at least 500 meters just for safety reasons. But a lot of those folks are new to open water swimming specifically. So we're not a learn to swim club.
Right.
We're have fun in a social environment while swimming in our amazing lakes and oceans kind of club.
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah, we don't teach. We've got several coaches in our membership. We actually have an Olympian. We've got some Ironman triathletes, bunch of lifeguards, but we're all there to do our own swims.
Okay, cool.
So it's more kind of a social thing. And yeah, it's been awesome. We're in our third season.
Oh, fun.
How long does your season go? I'm a total wimp when it comes to cold water, even though I love open water swimming. So we're trying to push it to the second week of October if we can.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's good. No, we're triathletes. So we went out so fast. Like,
what are you
absolutely
talking about?
Not. No, I think, well, you know what? During COVID, yeah, we started really early, ended in October, but no, now it's June till August, and then we wrap it up. And then a few of us stragglers will maybe go out for a bit in September while it's still nice out. And then it's always kind of like, when the spring comes and summer's around the corner, everyone's like, who's going to get in there first and try it and test it for all of us so we know when it's safe. That's
hilarious. Yeah. We usually start our season on my birthday, which is June 13th.
Oh, okay.
And we try to go at least until my co-director's birthday, which is September 25th.
Oh, wow. Nice.
But the water actually, like we had a club swim yesterday, and I wasn't cold until I was hanging out after the swim.
Oh, okay. Oh,
like chatting and it was someone's birthday, so we're hanging out. And then I got chilled.
And you guys do wetsuits as well?
About half the folks do wetsuits. So I do, for sure. Yeah. I get Raynaud's in my hands if I'm too cold, like if my core temperature goes too low. It's just, it's so annoying.
Oh, that's tough.
So yeah, wetsuit, full season for me. But there's other folks who don't wear a wetsuit at all until like November, and they're still out there doing ocean dips because they're insane. I'm back at the pool at that point.
Yeah. With the warm shower and change room after.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
And the hot tub.
Yeah, and the hot tub. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. That's awesome. So speaking of triathlons though, you run one. How cool is that? Yeah. Like you actually host a triathlon event in Victoria.
I do.
Annually. What's the deal?
Yes. It's called the Saskia Says Beginner Triathlon. My business is Saskia Says, and it's a blessing and a curse, my personality, where it's just when I see like a need for something to happen, I have a hard time kind of sitting back. I always just kind of spring into action, be like, okay, well, I'll just make it happen then. So we used to have a beginner triathlon, non-time triathlon in our community, and unfortunately that club closed many years ago. And so it just was lacking. There wasn't one in our community anymore. And so since I host beginner triathlon clinics and beginner swim clinics and all these beginner stepping stones, like my goal with my business is to be a stepping stone into movement and a lot in triathlon as well. So my athletes I was working with were going into the community, trying different races, and they're coming back just feeling a little discouraged just because they just felt really overwhelmed with the experience of you get there and everyone just looks so badass, right? Like they're in like
Sure.
these cool tight outfits that match and their bikes look like Batmobiles and everything looks so cool and fancy. And then you're showing up and you're like, okay, I'm not clipped into my bike. I don't even know what that is, right? And this is my first time and I don't even have a Garmin watch or anything like that. So I think that it was pretty intimidating for people to get into the sport. And so I started a beginner triathlon where it brings people in. It's a non-timed event. So it doesn't matter. And it starts in waves. So it's a pool swim, which is also a big barrier for people. Open water swimming, as we mentioned, can be really terrifying for people. So when you're in a pool and you're like, I just have to get from this wall to that wall. I could take a break whenever I want because it's not timed. So that's great. And then the bike course is 2 loops. So it's really inclusive that way. And it's mainly right-hand turns, which is easier to navigate for beginner triathletes. And then it's a 4K run, walk, whatever it may be. So it's just a fun opportunity for people to all be kind of the same, right? Like it's and be so unique and themselves. Everyone is a different size, shape, age, ability. It doesn't matter. They're all just showing up to challenge themselves for that goal that they all want to do. And they're all first timers, so they can share those nerves together, which is a pretty special experience because a lot of triathlons you go and a lot of people pretend they're not nervous or might not be nervous because they've done so many. So it's kind of fun to kind of share that like beginner experience as everyone in the field.
That is so cool. And how many folks take part?
I cap it at 120 and I've done it for 3 years now and we sold out the last 2 years, which has been really exciting. And something actually you'll appreciate, I make it a fully vegan event as well.
Right. How does that work?
So any food on at our tri is all vegan, like everything is vegan and plant-based, which I'm really excited for. And that was kind of an interesting thing when I was starting my business actually and hosting like a Christmas party or different things. People would tell me like, oh, you need to have meat or cheese and things there, right? And you kind of get that pressure from people like what you're supposed to do to offer these events. And again, love that aging where it's like, actually, I can just confidently, this is my business, this are my beliefs and my morals and values. And I want to do what's best for our planet. And that is having a plant-based triathlon. So I'm really stoked to be able to do that. So that also trickles into our sponsorship. So I'm really aware of who's sponsoring and what that can look like. We also do fundraising for Home for Hooves, which is our only animal sanctuary on the island. So again, kind of bringing that veganism into the tri as well. And then with being vegan, being really aware of our planet, it's as low waste as possible. So every year I've been really proud that we only fill 1 garbage bag the entire triathlon, which I'm really, really proud. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. A lot of endurance sports, right? Like it's that single-use plastic and cups. And so everything's getting thrown into bushes and all over the place. So I'm really proud that we are so low waste in this event.
That's really cool. That's one of a kind. Vegan, low waste, beginner friendly, not timed. Seriously, like it's checking all the boxes.
It is. It's very unique. I don't know of any other event quite like it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go back to the thing you just mentioned about open water swimming where people are kind of freaked out, which is part of the reason why you have your triathlon in a pool. The very first triathlon I did was in a pool in North Van in like 2011 or something, way back in the day.
Yeah, cool.
And I didn't get into open water until the pool here was closed for 9 months during COVID.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So honestly, I probably wouldn't have started swimming in lakes and oceans if the pool was open the whole time.
Oh, wow. Oh, good for you.
And now it's like my jam. Now it's what I love doing. And I wish the season were 12 months of the year. But anyway, so like, a lot of people go into open water swimming or they think about open water swimming with anxiety. And I have anxiety as it is, just generally. And it's weird because a lot of swimmers have anxiety specifically about swimming, but they're swimming for mental health reasons. It's like this weird balance of, okay, I'm doing this thing that I'm scared of, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm in a group and I feel safe. So what's the deal with that? Like, first of all, why are people afraid? And second, how do you manage it?
Yes. Okay. Well, great question. So why are people afraid? We're not fish. We're not mermaids and mermen. Like it is not our place where we can just breathe naturally. So people don't know the rhythm of how to breathe in water. So that's the first thing that I work on with people is regulating their breath. And I always give the example of when I started mountain biking, I'm on land and I'd be holding onto my handlebars and I'd be working through these rooty sections and holding my breath. And my friends would be, Saskia, breathe. And I was like, oh yeah, but you're so focused on this new skill. For some reason, your brain has said, okay, hold your breath. You're really anxious in this moment. So I think that creates a lot of fear, even though it's for mental health and different things, but it is in a completely different environment. We're not in unless we seek out water. Mm-hmm. So I'll work with adults who literally, when they shower, will turn away from the water because they're so fearful of having that water go in their nose, in their ears, and it's just uncomfortable if you're not used to experiencing it. So I think that's a big part of the fear base. In terms of open water, again, it seems to be a mix of people. Some people love in the lake when you can see below. Do you love seeing or do you like not knowing?
It depends. If it's really good visibility and I can see, like even in the ocean, if there's like cool creatures down there, love it. The anemones, the rocks, very cool. But if it's not great visibility and there's what we call ghost forests, which happen here in the area a lot of our lakes were actually flooded, like for dams and stuff. And there's these creepy ass trees that are just coming out of the blackness, basically right into your face. And they're like gnarled and very creepy looking. I'm not into that. So it kind of depends.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair. I think I'm kind of the same. I think for the most part, I like just being blissfully ignorant of not knowing what's below me. So I kind of like when it's a bit murky and cloudy and it's just dark and I can't see. I'm just in the water and I love it. But even actually a few weeks ago, I took my athletes over to some trees in the water. I'm like, let's go over to this tree. And I was like, look, it's just a wet tree. Like, it's not going to scare you. And so we all hung out by a tree and just like hung out just to get comfy with it being there because they're going to be all over the water. So I think just breaking down those barriers, and it's different for everyone. Some people, I work with some athletes who, like one athlete I'm working with right now, her cousin drowned and passed away from that. And other people who've had near drowning experiences themselves. So it's so different for everybody on what that fear factor is. But I would say like the majority of it is the breath control.
Yeah, it's very unique in swimming because you can't breathe whenever you want. You have to breathe in rhythm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's a big one. I think for folks in my club, it's also creatures like, ooh, what's down there? Like what's going to touch my leg or seaweed or, like it's the unknown. It's really the ambiguity and not knowing what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And also when you swim, for folks who don't swim, you're looking down. So you're not looking where you're going, which is why you have to sight. Right? Yes. Bring your face out of the water and you kind of see where you're going. But while you're swimming, you're looking below you. So if there's something ahead, you don't see it until it's right in your face.
Exactly.
That could be a bit unnerving.
Yeah. But then, like for us here in Victoria, there's certain lakes we always swim in and there's certain routes you always do. So, we have silly names in my group about like, okay, we're going to the enchanted forest over here, or different things. We make up names so or we know where big logs are to jump out at us and stuff. So you get kind of used to it when you're swimming in the same environment all the time. Yeah.
That's really smart. We did a bit of a different season this year. Last year we did a 5K swim as kind of like this season end big event thing with boat support and all that in the lake that we were swimming in every single week. But this year we were like, what if we just make use of all the amazing scenery that we have and do 4 different destination swims throughout the summer.
Oh, cool.
In 4 different places. So 2 ocean, 2 lake, different lakes, different ocean spots. And so, it's cool because we get to swim in more places. We also have weekly swims where they're just always at the same location. But for someone who needs like exposure therapy, basically, to decrease anxiety, it was like an added challenge of being in this new place that we're just there for one swim. Mm-hmm. One of them actually required driving quite a bit north of Powell River, and it's like a new location. We've never been there before. So I think that aspect of it became a little more apparent when we're not always in the same place and being like, okay, so there's the enchanted forest.
For sure.
There's pros and cons, right? Like I think it is important to know a certain route and you can just do it over and over and get comfortable with it. But there's also unknowns.
Oh, for sure. I remember I was on the Sunshine Coast and there was this beautiful lake and it was like crystal clear. And I wasn't with a swimmer who I was on this hiking trip with. And so they're like, oh, but you can just go. And there was this moment of like kind of nerves because like, well, I can see everything. I don't know if I want to see everything. I don't know this lake and, you know, what kind of animals are going to jump out at me. So yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah.
Hey, so how do you feel about being a vegan athlete in 2025? Do you still feel like we have something to prove?
That's a really good question. I don't know if you've noticed this lately where some places and people are switching lately from being vegan to not vegan.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Michelin star restaurant in New York.
Yes.
Right? Like they just switched from being meat focused to fully vegan to now offering both. So I felt like there was this really cool for a few years, like this amazing acceleration in veganism and understanding vegan eating and vegan lifestyle and vegan performers and athletes and all of that. And now I feel like myself just in media that it's been a bit stunted maybe. I don't know if you feel the same.
Yeah, totally.
So for myself, I still feel really confident in my choices to be vegan. I do it for my health and for the animals and for the environment. So to me, those are a no-brainer for who I am and my life. I think it is challenging because I don't think there will ever be a day, unfortunately, where I don't have, where do you get your protein? And then certain people say like, well, I need to eat animals for, you know, for this and that. And while they're banging their chest, I think it'll always be a challenge. And I don't know about you, but I go through waves of grief as well for animals. Like it'll just hit you so hard that right now, everything that's happening to animals, and it's so challenging. I just want to stop everything I'm doing and just go save all the animals in the world and become like a, you know, strong activist. So I'm having a hard time clearly giving you an answer because I think it's beautiful, but it's frustrating. But to me, it's worth doing. It's worth having those hard conversations and being challenged for it. Because I know I'm having a good ripple effect. And again, like we mentioned earlier in this conversation, with people also being like, just adding a little bit more plants into your diet and having a little bit more shift into just being more conscious of how you're fueling yourself. And again, the impact we're having on other living beings as well. So I hope that answers that.
Yeah, I think that what you're describing is what the psychologist Claire Mann calls vistopia. It's kind of like this existential distress that we vegans feel existing in a non-vegan world. Mm-hmm. That can come out in a lot of different ways, but sometimes it's grief, sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's like, is what I'm doing actually working? You know, I feel like there's a lot of ways that it can establish itself. Mm-hmm. But yeah, two things based on what you said. One is, yes, I also feel like things are moving backwards for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, if it's politics, if it's the economy, if it's the expansion of ridiculous bullshit like the carnivore diet and keto and all that stuff from years past. I'm not really sure. Second, I feel like there's still the same kind of prejudice that's always been around about veganism. It hasn't really changed that much. Mm-hmm. So the whole like, where do you get your protein from? It's still like we have something to prove. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, not that long ago in terms of how long I've been vegan, which is 23 years almost.
It's amazing.
Probably like 8 or 9 years ago when I still worked with clients in person because it's completely online now. But, you know, I was training clients at a gym. We used to have pull-up contests and like double under jump rope contests, whatever. Anyway, I usually crushed people at the pull-up contest. And other coaches would think they're hilarious by saying, oh, that's pretty good for a vegan. I mean, they're saying it as a joke, right? But the underlying assumption is that vegans aren't strong and that they can't crush pull-ups and, you know, so I feel like that's still there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. I think about that quite often. And, you know, being a female or even being like a female business owner, and you probably have a lot of that too. Like there is sometimes where you feel like you're still trying to have to prove yourself in our communities, which can be challenging. I was actually really upset with my 2018 Ironman when I got heat stroke because I had just fully gone vegan in 2017. So I was so excited. And even Green Mustache in Whistler was like really behind me, and like different people were really jumping on board because like, oh my gosh, like this vegan athlete and, kind of really promoting me. And I felt like I let everyone down when I got heat stroke. And because it kind of felt that feeling exactly like I wanted to prove like, yeah, vegans can crush Ironmans, but at the end of the day, like nothing I could have done about heat stroke is 37 degrees and they ran out of ice and like all this stuff. Yeah, it was terrible.
A bunch of non-vegans got heat stroke too, just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Volunteers were getting heat stroke, spectators, everyone. So I totally feel that pressure of having to feel like you have to prove yourself. But for the most part, I try to check myself as well. And I'm not here to prove anything to anyone, just hopefully just myself and, my family and close friends who are there to support me. And yeah, but at the end of the day, just for me, right. To show myself what I can do. And yeah, I want to be living a kind life at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like there's some usefulness to like the revenge goals, like I'm going to get super fit and crush pull-ups, for whatever revenge related reason. Or, I don't want to be like my family member who X, Y, and Z, like had a stroke or has diabetes or what have you. I feel like those goals can work, like the kind of negative ones. I don't want to be like this, or, I want to prove blah, blah, blah. But I think you're right. Ideally, we need to be doing it for ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. But I think like what a great wake up call for people to be like, this family member or this person in my life, like they are unhealthy. They cannot go swim 10K. They cannot do this and that. I don't want to end up that way. Like I know people through my work or personal life who, they've had a health scare themselves, totally shifted their life around. And
absolutely.
I think, there's a space for those, but totally agree that at the end of the day, like, you start and you end with you. So you gotta make yourself happy and feel fulfilled for yourself, which again, something that comes easier as I keep growing up.
Fewer shits are given as we get older. It's pretty great.
Thank goodness.
So how does veganism come up in your work with clients? I mean, I assume they're not all plant-based. Like we've got a pretty specific niche because we work with people online. We've got clients who live in Australia and London and right now Japan. Like it's pretty cool. But that way we can work with people who are vegan. When you have a business that's in person, I assume it's a bit different. Yeah, I will have people who are just so full on, like there's absolutely no way. Like I'm not into that. And they'll say those jokes or comments that you've mentioned as well. And yeah, I need my steak instead. And there's no way I'm doing that and this and that. But then they're going to get all these supplements and different things. So honestly, I've thought about this a lot in the last few years, like with veganism, but also just with the clientele in general, with who I work with in terms of behavior and community, I'd say. And I honestly just have the most wonderful people come and see me. And I see the way my business is set up, I don't really see people for a very long-term stretch. Like it's beginner stuff. So I'll have them for a short term. And then my goal is to just keep bringing people into health and then pushing them into this healthy lifestyle, into different avenues throughout Victoria and around the world. So yeah, with veganism, there's definitely some comments here or there. And with my coaching programs, with my beginner tri clinics, I bring in my friend who's a naturopath who's vegan. And excellent. we align on so much and agree on so much. And he has a really open-minded way, kind of like how you mentioned that not everyone can be vegan. So yes, does he promote veganism? Definitely. But does he have an open mind that not everyone will go that way or can go that way? Absolutely. So he creates space for all my athletes, which I appreciate because yes, do we both want them all to go vegan? Definitely. And then I also, with the same guy, we also offer beginner plant-based cooking classes. Oh, cool. Yeah. So we just try to show people again, because people are just in the unknown still of what does that look like to eat vegan. And you probably starting in 2003, like have gone through this really long, crazy time of being like, all we have is soft tofu. Yeah. And TVP. That's about it.
Yeah. And now to have this like big range of like, you can be a junk food vegan if you want, you can be, right? Like you can be whatever kind of vegan you want, and you don't have to really cook vegan. You can get anything vegan, which is so cool. So it's a lot easier, but there's still definitely, people are unclear of what that looks like to make a balanced meal vegan. So my friend and I do offer these plant-based cooking classes where we go through, we've done them around like Thanksgiving, because that's big, like those family gathering traditional times where it's like, well, I'm so used to turkey. What does that look like to not have a big turkey dinner with friends and family at these times in the year?
Mm-hmm.
Or then we'll just do your basic, like, okay, here's a week. This is what it would look like to fuel yourself and have some fun and get like cauliflower wings or different things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just kind of opening people's mind like little by little through cooking classes or having this friend come in and actually give demonstrations or give athlete guides and different stuff like that. Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, honestly, I've always thought that food is the way to reel people into this world because it's just so important. It's social. It's a pleasure thing. It's comfort. It's not just fuel. Like a lot of athletes are just like, well, it's just fuel. It isn't. It's so much more. And so I feel that sharing techniques like this, teaching people how to cook plant-based, probably with ingredients they've never tried before, even if they're vegetarian. Like, I didn't know what tempeh was, or amaranth, or millet, or wakame while I was vegetarian even. Then I went vegan. I'm like, oh, there's this whole world of stuff that I haven't tried.
Yeah.
So I think like the food is an easy way to get people talking, or like you bring an insane vegan dessert to a potluck or whatever. And then that gets people interested. They're like, oh, wait, there's no eggs in here? Wait, how'd you make this without dairy? And then you start having conversations.
That also kind of comes back to the proving yourself, though, doesn't it? Where you're like, I have to bring the best ever dessert this person's ever tried in their entire life. And you're like, I am now the best baker in the world.
Yeah.
I can like cook all the things.
That's a great point.
It's so true, though. But I love finding, like there's a really cute cafe in Victoria that I go to. They're not fully vegan, but they specialize in it. And I love being able to bring their treats to different occasions. To be like, okay, look, you can get this locally and it's fully vegan and they're blown away. And I actually just got cupcakes from them this weekend for my best friend's wedding, for the wedding dessert, and everyone was like, oh my god, how are these vegan? And
that's so cool.
Yeah, so it's that same thing of kind of having to prove that you can still have the best delicious thing and you don't need the butter and all the extra stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I'm already planning a month in ahead the food for our swimmers brunch at the end of our season. Everyone's coming to my house for like our annual social, and we're already making like menu plans, and we're going to have all sorts of vegan stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, let me know the date.
Come on over, just take the ferry over. No big deal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So a couple things. I know that you lead a community hike, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah. So again, just trying to give people exposure to movement. So I do these community hikes and I pick different places and different skill levels, but mostly just trying to have hikes that most people are capable of doing. And there's just an opportunity to get outside, move your body. On Instagram, almost every day, I always put a post of, because I'm outside moving my body every day. So I always put a post of me outside and I say, hope you get outside and move your body today. And it's just that kind of check-in for people like, oh yeah, Saskia's going to put that. Did I get outside today? And so the community hikes is a nice opportunity to be like, here's a trail maybe you've never been to before, or you haven't tried in a long time, or you're a bit nervous to do. So it kind of breaks down that barrier, kind of what we were saying with swimming as well, right? The unknown of a certain environment. And then it brings people together. The West Coast can be a little bit of a cliquey environment in Victoria and Vancouver. So I'm always trying to break down that barrier too, of people making new friends and coming together in community. And maybe it's just through meeting up for a hike. Maybe you don't have to be best friends, but just someone you can call up for a hike. And then these are also opportunities to do fundraising. So as I mentioned, I do fundraise for Home for Hooves quite a lot, but I also pick other organizations like Jane Goodall or different organizations that are trying to better our planet, our environment, our community, the animals, usually health focused. We've done like the Terry Fox Foundation and things like that too. So, but most of the time, without a doubt, it's going to Home for Hooves. I just love what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So is there anything else in terms of like events, services, things that we can plug?
Yeah, I think the big thing is the Saskia Says Beginner Try. It's going to be on June 7th this coming year. And yeah, there's only 120 spots and it does sell out. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's vegan focused, low waste. And yeah, super passionate about that event. It's really fun. And then, yeah, we kind of touched on a lot of it. I do beginner triathlon clinics and beginner swim clinics in pool, open water, swim lessons, group swimming, the community hikes, plant-based nutrition courses. Yeah, I think there's a lot.
What don't you do is basically what I'm getting at.
Well, actually, it's so funny because while I'm here in Tofino, I'm giving myself this little like soul-searching work retreat, actually, because Saskia says just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I keep trying to keep it really intimate. And so I'm kind of at this crossroads where I'm just trying to decide how big I'm going to let it go. And there's things I've had to let go. I used to do intro to trail running and introduction to backpacking. That's a big barrier, especially for women. They don't feel safe to go. They don't know how to pack a bag. What do you take? And all the gear again. So yeah, there's lots of things I'd like to kind of bring back. I also did a speaker series where promoting people. Actually, have you heard of Susan Simmons?
Yes, she's been on the show.
Oh, great.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Marathon swimmer for those who haven't heard the episode, but definitely check it out.
If you don't know Susan Simmons, yes, listen to this episode. Check her out. She's amazing. Right? An athlete with MS who happens to also be vegan. And she's such a badass swimmer. Telling her story. I wanted to share her story. I also had a friend who rode her bike solo to Mexico from Victoria, share her story. Wow. So I just want, again, people meeting people, just building that community. So there's things I'd like to bring back that I'm not currently doing. So trying to decide. But yes, I think we've covered most of
You need like 5 clones of yourself and then you'll be fine.
I know, because also you were mentioning all the athletic things that I like to do too. So it's trying to fit those things in as well. And yeah, so it's a lot.
Do you have a team that you work with, or is it just you at this point?
It's me, but I bring on guest coaches. So I do have a wonderful swim coach who helps out once a week with my group swimming. And then I have guest coaches with my clinics as well. But no, cool. 99% of it is me. Yeah.
That's absolute powerhouse material right there.
Well, yeah, when you love what you do, it's like, even when you're tired or burnt out, I'm so driven and so excited to get people, learning about plants and learning about movement and what works for them as well, to having this individual approach, because as you mentioned earlier, just having this raw, everyone has to, do 100 burpees or something, that's just not the right fit for everybody at different stages in their life. So I really like providing like a welcoming, open space for people to come move their bodies in the capacity that works for them.
That is awesome. I love what you're doing. I love the community you're building, your approach to work. Also, shout out to Annalise Weiler, who's also been on the show, who connected us.
Yes.
So
she is
thank
so
you,
lovely.
Annalise.
And oh my gosh, such a powerhouse vegan. She is amazing.
Weighted chin-ups, like 10 perfect reps in a row. I mean,
oh my gosh.
on.
Yeah. And she's like such a great runner, and she's doing amazing things in her career. And yeah, she makes the best vegan cookies. Like, she's just crushing all fronts. Yeah, she's so great.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yes, we love you, Annalise.
Another powerhouse.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to her for connecting us.
Yeah.
And thank you, Saskia, so much for coming on the show. Great to speak with you.
Yeah, it was so nice to meet you. And as I mentioned, actually, when we were emailing, you put out a cookbook in 2014, and that cookbook was my very first vegan cookbook, and I was obsessed with making the healthy cookies from it. I was making them all the time. They were such a favorite for everybody. So cool to have this full circle to actually chat with you on here. So thank you for having me.
That is so cool. I actually completely forgot about that until right now. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, no.
You did mention that in an email, and I was like, that made my entire month. That's so cool.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, small world, right? It's so awesome.
Yeah, and I don't remember at the time actually knowing that you were Canadian either. So I was like, that is so cool. Yeah, because I was just like, who is this badass? Because again, veganism wasn't as big then. So you were really
not at that point
breaking down barriers. So good for you, and congratulations to everything you're doing too. You're doing amazing things.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, so great to connect with you. We will have show notes as always, so folks can connect with you.
Awesome.
But it was great speaking with you.
Yes, you too. Yeah, have a great day.
You too.
Saskia, thank you again for joining me on the show. Check out our show notes at nobullshitvegan.com/207. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to the No Bullshit Vegan podcast at nobullshitvegan.com.